It's time for the Stoops Review with Toby Rowland, TJ Perry, and Hall of Fame head coach Bob Stoops. The Stoops Review is brought to you every week by Stride Bank. With local roots and national reach, Stride Bank is your go-to partner for all your banking needs. Stride Bank, your trusted financial partner since 1913. And now, with the Stoops Review, here's Toby Rowland, TJ Perry, and Bob Stoops.
How about that Saturday night, Coach? Was that any fun?
Good morning, Toby, TJ. Absolutely, that was a lot of fun. And, boy, a fan base and a team that needed it. And just goes to show you what we are capable of. And so, hopefully we could do it again here this week. Did
you storm the field after the game, Coach? Did I see you down there?
I hung around. I hung around the back out of the hallway and waited to see Brent and some of the other coaches. And it was great to see them after such a great game. And it was awesome. Awesome night, just the way everybody played.
Well, give me your impressions of what went so right on Saturday night.
Well, first of all, defense was just incredible. All night, third downs, getting to the quarterback, limiting him, I felt was a huge key to the game going in. Just his ability to run and make big plays, and we just got after the quarterback. Big turnovers. Eli Bowen, what a play he made, and Kip Lewis, and those were huge plays. And then offensively, after the first quarter, we took care of the football. And, we tried to give the same recipe by having a fumble, having a drop touchdown pass, and then we quit doing that. We started making the plays that are there for us to make. I thought they had a really strong effort to run the quarterback, Jackson Arnold, and he ran it well. And then, of course, Xavier Robinson, in the O-line, being able to run the football for 250 or 60, whatever it was is always going to help you win.
You've seen Alabama many times this year, Coach, and certainly Jalen Milroe. To do what they did to him and to them Saturday night was kind of unthinkable coming in. I mean, I know Oklahoma had a good defense. We all knew that. But the game plan specifically, Coach, what did you notice that worked so well for him against Milroe?
Yeah, I think you've got to give it to Zach Alley and the other defensive coaches and Brent. I just thought they schemed them up, and they couldn't get a feel for what we were doing, whether it was stunning the defensive line, blitzing from different ways, blitzing with the twist, those kind of things. All of it really crossed them up and, and put a lot of pressure on Milroe, their quarterback.
How about
the offense? Even crossed up their quarterback run game too by the different stunning that we did.
It seemed like they were one step ahead of them all night long. How about the offensive line, Coach? It's been a tough year. It's been a lot of injuries, been a lot of criticism, but man, they pushed them around.
Yeah, they we still had a different starting lineup, I think, than we've had, but we did. We blocked them up. Coach Biedenbo's the best at it, and fortunately just it all came together in this game, and they did. They created some nice holes and protected the quarterback for the most part. Just they did a really good job.
It appears that we've got a star that's emerging here late in the season at running back. This Xavier Robinson kid who came in late against Missouri and then did it all night against Alabama. I don't know, Coach. I don't know if he doesn't seem like he's the fastest or the biggest or the strongest, but he's awfully smooth, and he's fast enough and big enough and strong enough. What do you see in him? Vision? What is it that's allowing him to be so good here?
It's almost like a guy like Kennedy Brooks as well. They just have a great pace to them that they see. They don't miss holes that are there. They have great timing and in the way they pace the play and allow the blocks to get set up and to form and open. And there's something to that. The really great backs do have a feel, for when to turn it on, when to pace it down. and find the right timing to get in and out of the hole.
Yeah, he was tremendous. And Jackson Arnold, coach, deserves a ton of credit. That was a disastrous finish in Columbia, but boy, he came back and ran the ball tough, took care of the football. Happy to see him have a moment like Saturday night too.
Oh, definitely. What a great guy, young man. He's in, it's a tough position, and he's had his struggles through the year, but it was great to see him on, the last game at home here in 24 and senior day and all for, just for him to go out and play so well. Good for him. I'm just really happy for him and was able to give him a pat on the head after the game as well. It's neat to see him so happy.
You told us a few weeks back, Coach, about having a rough season, and you gave yourself a pep talk in the car, and that was a great story. But, it's been a rough year for Brent. We found out this past week that personally it's been a rough year for their entire family, too. So happy for him to experience a night like Saturday night. I'm sure you shared some words with him afterwards as well.
I did, and I was able to see him on Thursday, too. I sat in the back of the defensive meeting for about 15, 20 minutes, wanted to just see what they were all doing, and was able to see him ahead of the game on Thursday, and yeah, just give him a hug and let him know we're praying for he and his whole family and Joey, and that's that matters more than anything. But anyway, it was fun to see him after the game too with his girls down there, and just excited about the win.
What could the ramifications of this game be, Coach? I'm talking not just this season, but for what Brent wants to do and for the program.
Well, I think, it shows kind of what I said earlier, what we're capable of, that we do belong here in this league. This isn't the end all, I get it, but it does show what we're capable of. And, when we're on, we can be there with anybody or beat anybody. And hopefully we got to show it again this week. You got to be able to take it on the road. And I believe this will be a big boost to us going into this week, confidence boost, and, give you a little bit of the attitude that, we told you we're capable of this, and but you got to do it again and keep doing it. So, but it can lead to a lot, I think it shows recruits as well that this also is what we're capable of. We just got to be more consistent with taking care of the football, and we're going to be in all these games.
It's our weekly Monday visit with Bob Stoops, our Stoops Review. We'll take some questions from you, the listeners out there, next segment on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line, 405-651-3439. Have you had a chance to see LSU much this year, Coach? And do you have an impression on what the challenge is going to be on Saturday in Baton Rouge?
Yeah, I've seen them to some degree. I like their quarterback, Nussmeier. Been a little bit inconsistent, but I think he's really a good player. I have that name right? I think
Nussmeier, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, and they're always oddly they haven't been as good up front. With that they usually are. They usually have such great linemen on both sides of the ball. That seems to have been a little bit inconsistent, and defensively. Generally they're really good, and they seem to be struggling to some degree defensively from what I've seen.
Yeah, they are 16th in rushing offense, dead last in the league in rushing offense, and 14th in rushing defense. So that kind of speaks to what you're talking about in the trenches. Now, I know you didn't play LSU in Death Valley when you were the head coach at Oklahoma, but have you been to a game there, maybe with your work at Fox or anything? Have you been to a game here?
Oh, I was the D coordinator for Coach Spurrier. We played we played in 97. We played at LSU, and they beat us. And it was a night game, and it was insane. Yeah, they were. It was rowdy, and heck, they beat us, and they were still throwing things at us, getting to the bus. So trying to leave the field. But anyway, yeah. So it's a rowdy place, but they're they're not having the best of years. So hopefully, we can go in and make some big plays early to hopefully get the crowd not to be quite interested as they can be.
Yeah, I'm kind of torn. I mean, it doesn't matter at this point, but there was, for much of the year, we didn't know if it was going to be an afternoon kick or a night game. And while statistically, historically, it's much easier to beat them during the day than at night, as a college football fan, I also want to experience it. It's so famous. A night game in Death Valley is such a famous thing historically in college football that I want to experience it. So, I mean, here we go. Be careful what you ask for, I guess. But
yeah, that's right. That's right. Especially as a fan or as a, one thing when you're on the field and insulated from it all, but when you're not, it can be pretty rowdy, definitely. So beware anyone going.
Yeah, be careful. I would be interested, Coach. We got December coming up here. And in college football, this is craziness. It kind of looks like one of those interstate exchanges in Dallas where there's roads going everywhere. You're in the middle of a season still, or winding down, but you're still playing football. You got signing day coming up. You got a transfer portal that's about to open up. What is your feeling about how we do this in college football, and is there a better way to do it?
Well, I keep saying that, sure, there's a better way, and we've got to find our way to that, to having some kind of regulation to it all, and like you just said, have a better roadmap on how to handle it all, and what's allowed and what isn't, and contracts, and again, the NFL doesn't just go about its business without having any regulation. They have it all mapped out, and with contracts and whatnot, and I think college ball needs to get to that with timing of everything, with contracts for recruits, and rather than a free open market every single month, it just doesn't seem to be sustainable overall. So anyway, I think too, the powers that be to sit down and what's the best timing for all of this, whether it be signing day, whether it be transfer portal, all those kind of things, and hopefully just keep improving it.
Yeah, it makes sense to me that you would wait on that stuff until the football season's over. Let the coaches and everybody coach and play and finish
Agreed.
The season, and then we can worry about signing day. Then we can worry about transfer portal. I guess you run into an academic calendar there, though, that if you want to get guys on campus in the spring, it gets a little trickier. I don't know, but just having it all right in the middle seems, or in December when everything's going on, Coach, seems chaotic, and it would have to be tough for a coaching staff.
Well, I always felt December was my busiest month of the year, definitely. Through the years, now I didn't even have a transfer portal, but we did have, we didn't have a signing date, so but we were recruiting, getting ready for usually a Big 12 championship game, recruiting, as well as bowl practice. All of that together was. December was insanely busy for a coach, and it's probably more so now that there is a signing day. But we were recruiting hard and hosting recruits as well as practicing for bowl games. All of it together was a lot, and it still is.
A couple of minutes here, Coach, or less. I think you've shared these thoughts before, but now that we know Oklahoma's bowl eligible, do we make too much of that, the value of the bowl practices and everything? We make too much of that, or is it very, very valuable?
No, it's incredibly valuable, definitely, for all the younger guys get more and more snaps, and learning. It's a big deal, definitely, I feel. And I said it a week ago or so that I used to pull the seniors out, for, a good part at the end of practice and just get all the young guys and go up and down the field, like simulating a game. With the seniors, kind of out there helping coach them up and get the younger guys more and more work.
Yeah, well, that's good. They're going bowling now. We know. We'll take a break. Top of the hour. Your questions for Coach coming up next. Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line 405-651-3439. It's the Stoops Review brought to you by Stride Bank. We'll be back.
The Stoops Review, presented by Stride Bank, is brought to you in part by Riverwind Casino. Their newly remodeled gaming floor has almost 3,000 of your favorite games, complemented by a variety of bars, restaurants, and the best live music in the metro. It's no surprise that Riverwind is always a good time.
It's our Stoops Review. We're chatting with Sooners head coach Bob Stoops, talking about the win and more. And let's hit the text line and see what kind of questions we got from the listeners out there today. Coach, what do you got, Josh?
We got all sorts of questions for Coach. Hey, Coach, I know you spoke to this a little bit, Coach, but how important is going through a bowl game in helping shaping next year's team, especially for the younger guys?
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's you're going to get 15 practices of, a lot of good work going against each other. Like I said, we used to even some of the young guys scrimmage them some or, simulate games going up and down the field with all the seniors on the sideline, kind of helping coach them. So it's a big deal. It'll help build next year's team for sure.
Dr. Stickman, I find it interesting, the similarities between Coach Stoops' first season and the first season in the SEC as his Sooners had to learn how to win. Coach, can you comment on that process?
Yeah, early on in our first year in '99, our guys hadn't won before. So it was different. They were just, I can remember we were ahead, whatever it was, 16 or 16 points, I think, at Notre Dame, and see everybody a little bit too happy on the sideline. Same thing, we were up 17-0 against Texas a few weeks later, and again, I saw too many people pleased, and it's, we're only in the second quarter. We've got a long way to go here. So we had to learn how to finish games, how to play in the second half, how to make the key plays in games that are going to make a difference to win. And I felt we really started doing that in the A&M game in '99, the homecoming game against A&M. We got ahead and we kept on the gas and blew them out. And I felt that's when our guys finally figured it out. Regardless of the score, keep playing and make the key plays to, that matter in the game. And we started to do that, anyhow, I felt like that A&M game was the one that really got us over the hump.
One of the projections, Coach, is Independence Bowl for OU. So that'd be great. We could get you down there to Shreveport, have kind of a bonding or a healing night with the Roughnecks, perhaps, because that was the site of your injury down there, right?
Yeah, no, they're that's where I got wiped out. One of them tripped and fell into my knee, right into the side, and my knee was like a watermelon by the end of that game. I had to cancel my whole week of recruiting because my knee was so swollen, and and then they just ran to the other side like it didn't happen. And so I had a mandate for a while there that the Roughnecks weren't allowed within 30 yards of me or I was going to kick them off the field.
I'm looking at the coaches in 1999 that you faced here. Just a good jog down memory lane. We had Bob Davie at Notre Dame, of course, Mac Brown. R.C. Slocum was at A&M. Gary Barnett at Colorado. Dan McCarney was still at Iowa State. Spike Dykes at Texas Tech. And then David Cutcliffe was at Ole Miss when you faced them in the Independence Bowl. That's a fun
good
who's
group
who.
Of coaches there.
Yeah. What else you got there, Josh?
Sooner Steven, does winning against Alabama give more pressure in a sense to keep playing at that level, or does it really take it off? And how do you keep your guys at that level and not go back to previous games' level of play?
Well, I think you're always analyzing what we do well, what could we do better. And, I think this validates what the coaches have been telling them. But now let's find this kind of consistency again this week. It doesn't help to do it once out of 12 games. We've got to find this level of play, this level of concentration, attention to detail, whatever you want to call it. We're capable of making these kind of plays and playing winning football. We've got to do it again. And I don't look at anything as pressure. It's just, it's pushing yourself to be your best. And and that's what we're required to do. And how did we win this game? We won the turnover battle, which we talk about every week. I'm sure we were better, and I haven't looked at it, but in third downs or, making big plays, those kind of things, all, running the football, who ran the football better. That's a winning formula, and we're required to do it again.
Yeah, 7 of 15 on third downs, so right at 50%, which is considerably better. And I had time of possession, Coach, I think it was a plus 8.5 minutes that OU had.
Turnovers will do that. Yeah, turnovers will lead to time of possession differences, definitely, as well as you said, Toby, the third down conversions, lead to that time of possession as well and the points.
Last 2 years now, when OU wins the turnover battle, 13-0. So let's just do that again. That seems like you do that, you win. So let's just win the turnover battle again. Not that hard. Josh, what else you got?
It's a major factor always.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, Johnny. Coach, was this offensive game plan determined by the players during the first quarter when they were manhandling that Alabama defensive front? You can't tell me on Saturday afternoon that Joe John's game plan was, here's what we're going to do. We're going to run the ball 50 times against Alabama for the win. You'd say, put down that rock and roll tequila for a bit.
No, you go into a game believing you could do this and that, whatever it might be. And then you see, you start to experience it, and I'm sure, in that first half, Joe John was saying, "Look, we're really effective here running the football on these guys." So you naturally start doing it more. You start to feel engage, the other team and what's bothering them, and if it's bothering them, you keep going to it. And and I thought we did a great job of that. And you don't always know until you get out there with them, what's going to be clicking, and you got to try and, obviously you're going to go back to the things that are working more than you otherwise might.
Do you remember a specific game, Coach, where you went in with a game plan and once you got going like this, you're like, hey, they can't stop this. Let's just morph. Let's go this.
Many times.
The thing that jumps to mind for me is the sprint draw with Quentin Griffin. I don't know what the game plan going in was or wasn't, but you just kept hammering Texas over and over again. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they couldn't. Quentin was so shifty that you just give him that little sprint draw with a little bit of space, and I mean he was so hard to catch. And he had a huge game. 6 touchdowns against Texas and a ton of yards, and most of them were on that sprint draw. But you're right. That was, once you get in there and you realize they can't handle it, you just keep going to it. The other one that I can think of, just obvious is Samaje Perine against Kansas.
Yeah.
We kept bringing our tight end, our fullback back, and that safety kept following them. And Samaje kept going right out the front window. And I was kept saying up in the on the field, I go, are they going to change, or they're going to keep letting that strong safety follow that blocker back that way? And they did the whole game, so we're like, keep giving it to them. And but heck, I don't think we gave it to them. We gave them one possession in the second half, Samaje, and I said, look, if he doesn't break the record on this series, we're getting him out, because I didn't want to take a chance of getting him hurt. And fortunately, he rolled off another big run and got the record, the single game record for the NCAA.
Do you remember being on the other side of one of those? Like, it's a much more painful memory, but where a team came in with a play or an attack that you just couldn't figure out as the night went along, and they just kept hitting you with it over and over.
Oh, not one particular scheme, but obviously the only, the one nightmare was the USC. No matter what we did, they were so hot. You got to give it to them.
Yeah.
But we couldn't slow them down. That was a painful evening.
I didn't mean to take you down that. We're having happy memories today, Coach. So that's my bad.
Yeah,
poor
why'd
hosting.
you got to go? Why you got to go there, Toby?
Sorry, I didn't mean to. Josh, you got another question or two from the listeners out there?
Tough in Tulsa, Coach. What were some of the best defensive performances you had, and what did you think about this one?
Well, the obvious is the masterpiece was the national championship game. We shut out the Florida State, who had set an NCAA record for points that year. So that would definitely be the best of them. And then probably also the 2000 Nebraska game. After the first two series, the rest of the day was really special, and how we played. Anyhow, I don't know. There's others you could, to look up. But I thought their defensive game plan and execution the other night was fantastic. Yeah, the players were, tackling, were physical, were in the right spots. You could see them out there communicating, their checks so that everybody's on the same page. And it was neat. I enjoyed, sitting in the defensive room with Coach Alley and Brent and Brandon Hall and listening to it for about 20 minutes or so the other day. And, I could see it happening then once they were out on the field, all the different checks and everybody getting on the same page with what they were doing.
Coach, you were on the field Saturday. They honored the Bob Stoops era on Owen Field, which was appropriate because you were 3-0 against Alabama in your time. But did you hear from, or did you have some players back? Did you hear from some of your former players and everything Saturday?
I didn't. I was just down there briefly for that, recognition and then back up. But so I really didn't see a lot of people. The Friday before, I was glad to see Nate Hibble was back. Oh, yeah? And great to see Nate. He looked great. He's going to be around all week for Thanksgiving. And but yeah, Nate, came in and of course it was a big hand in helping us beat Alabama when they were here. The game Ronaldo Works went wild on, but Nate came in when Jason got hurt, and and helped, definitely led us to that win.
I've always been impressed by you and Coach Switzer. I had the chance to sit down with Coach Switzer this week, and he can go back and tell you. It feels like every player who's ever played with him, where they are now, how many kids they have, all this. And you can do the same, and you guys stay so close through the years with all your former players and have remarkable memories. And I don't know how you do that, as many guys who come through, but it is really a testament to this isn't just about winning games. I mean, you keep in touch, and it's a big relationship deal for everyone.
Absolutely. These guys work hard. They're with you, through all these days, working together. You go through the whole year with these guys, and then they go through struggles, and you fight together. It means a lot. They're definitely strong bonds, and it was fun to see Nate. He was with his wife, and his two young boys are with him. They were sitting with Ryan Hibble and his wife. They were all eating together, so it was neat for me because I, of course, love being around Ryan as well. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, these guys are important to us, and it is fun when you haven't seen them for a while to connect again.
You got any big Thanksgiving plans, Coach? You going back to Youngstown, or is everybody coming to you?
No, just staying around here. We, through the years, it was always such a busy week. Never had any, travel plans for Thanksgiving. So we always get together with the McMillans, Matt McMillan and Gina, their family. All the years, Matt worked with me all 18 years. So we always we would all get together after practice at Matt's house. So we continue that.
Remind me, did you and Matty meet in college? Or was it at
No.
K-State?
Yeah, we met at Kansas State. Matt was working in the administration office. He was part of their fundraising group. And I didn't meet him in my first year or two there at Kansas State, but then we connected and we all started palling around together after about our first or second year there at Kansas State in Manhattan. And then he left to take a job in Kansas City. I went to Florida. And we always still, kept in touch. And then, and then he came to work with us here once I got the job as our operations, for the football office.
Yeah, and been inseparable ever since. Great friendship that you and Maddie have. Just hit it off back at K-State. That's awesome. Josh, we have one more question for Coach before we let him go, or are we good?
Yeah. Oh, man, we could go all day with questions for Coach. Good morning, Coach. This is from Sooner Fan from the 479. I think from now on you need to stay in the booth with Toby for all future OU games. Also, what's your go-to Thanksgiving dish, Boomer?
Hey, I'll stay up there as long as you guys want me to with the K-Ref crew.
Yeah, that's fun.
But anyway, my go-to, heck, I'm with everything. Thanksgiving, I'd like to think it ought to be a quarterly instead of once a year. It should be quarterly. You have a Thanksgiving meal.
Love it.
So I'm good with all of it, really.
Did did Dee Dee have a particular dish that she was an expert on?
Not really. Not just all the traditional stuff. And we have a big family. In Youngstown, it was my uncle, my mom's brother had a huge home out in the country that we would all meet at. So it was we'd have 2 or 3 different turkeys and ham, and a couple hams, and we'd mow through it all. Believe me, we had so many people.
That's great. Coach, love it. I'm glad we had some fun topics to talk about today. That felt good.
Yeah, that's a lot easier going, isn't it?
Yeah, a lot easier. Well, we'll talk to you next week, hopefully after another Sooner victory. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Boomer Sooner, everybody.
Boomer Sooner, Coach. Coach's appearances brought to you every week by Stride Bank. There's been way too many times, Josh, this year where we've had to come on and have Coach relive negatives. So that felt good today. Talk about what went right instead of what went wrong.